Okay, welcome back, everybody. Okay, so this is a part two of the video that I shot yesterday. This is in reference to the missing Memphis teacher, Eliza Fletcher. And looked like yesterday they had a suspect detained. Police had a suspect detained. Looks like this morning, or well, late yesterday rather, there has been a formal arrest and charges been brought, or charges have been filed, put it that way. So we're going to talk about the person that the charges were filed against, dig into a little bit of his background. I think you're going to be a little surprised. This gentleman just got out of prison, after doing 20 years for almost the exact same charge. He's originally sentenced to 24 years. Then there was another charge that he was supposed to receive 10 years for. The sentences ran concurrent rather than consecutive. He ended up taking a plea deal back in 2000. He copped 20 years. Just got out, I think, in November of 2020. So he hasn't even been out for 2 years yet. So we're going to talk about that, and then there's some interesting things going on here. The person that he was picked up with, I think there's a lot of rumor that it was his brother. I don't know if it was his brother or not, but there's some suspicion that his brother is gonna testify against him. We'll go through his brother's background. I think he has 14 previous charges. A lot of convictions, mainly drug related. He does have some gun charges. Let's dive into this and we'll just kind of see where this takes us. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about Cleo Abston. That's the person that was picked up yesterday and officially charged now. Let's take a look at at some of the arrest record. See here. Okay, so these are the two charges he's facing right now. You can see these charges were just filed. Especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with or fabricating evidence. Let's take a look at the affidavit. Okay, I'm going to read through this. I'll just skim through this. This is all public information. There's anybody can track this stuff down. Friday, September 2nd, 2022, at approximately 7 a.m., Memphis police officers respond to a missing person. This is when Mrs. Fletcher, they were responding to, I think, her husband's call that she was missing. Hadn't returned home, went for a run around 4 a.m., normal schedule. I'm not going to get into the names here of the witness. You can find that on your own. Essentially, the witness states that they saw Mrs. Fletcher being forced into a black SUV. States that a male exited the black GMC Terrain, ran aggressively towards the victim, then forced the victim, Mrs. Fletcher, into the passenger side vehicle. There appeared to be a struggle. They later found some slides in the area, and I think a cell phone. Let's see. The slides were turned over for DNA testing. That may be a little while before they get that back. Oh, wow. Okay. Thereafter, investigators developed Cleo Abston as a person of interest in the investigation. DNA found on the shoes matched his DNA in the CODIS database. Wow, that was quick. Investigators were searching for him. Let's see what else. They have surveillance. Investigators were able to recover surveillance footage of Mr. Abston wearing the same slides a day before the abduction. Let's see. Oh, he was at a movie theater. They saw him on the camera, confiscated didn't confiscate, took a copy of the footage. They're including that with the evidence. Let's see, what else do we have? Says they found a black 2013 GMC Terrain registered to Gwendolyn Brown, maybe his girlfriend or a friend. Let's see. Okay, this is where it gets kind of dicey. On September 3rd at approximately 10:45 a.m., 2013 GMC Terrain with license plate located by members of the Marshal Services Two Rivers Violent Fugitive Task Force. The vehicle was backed into a parking spot over on Waterstown Oak Way. It was confirmed to be the vehicle by license plate number and by the noticeable damage to the rear passenger side tail light. If you read the article or the report, the witness stated that there was some visible damage to the passenger side tail light. It's kind of easy to see at night. It's probably really messed up. And they caught it on footage too, so they already knew about the damage. It says officers detained Mr. Abston while he was occupying the GMC Terrain. When officers stopped Mr. Abston, he attempted to flee but was taken into custody. Let's see. Investigators interviewed Chantel Anthony. She stated that after the abduction, she saw Cleo at the home of Mario Abston. This is not the house that Cleo lives. She stated that Cleo was cleaning the interior of the GMC Terrain with floor cleaner and stated that he was behaving oddly. This was later confirmed by Mario Abston, Cleo Abston's brother. He stated that he saw Cleo cleaning the interior of the car with floor cleaner, and he was washing his clothes in the sink of the house. He appeared to be acting very strange. Let's see what else. As the abduction was violent, as captured on the video, the suspect waiting for, then rushed towards the victim, then forcing the victim into the vehicle where she was confined and removed. That doesn't make any sense. Where she was confined and removed and continues to be missing, it is believed and supported by these facts. Okay, so this is pretty serious. This is not good. Okay, so second page of the affidavit states the police believe that the victim in this case suffered serious injury. Police believe it is probable and apparent from witness statements that these injuries left evidence, example, blood, in the vehicle that the defendant was cleaning. So that's where the obstruction of justice charge probably came from. So again, real quick here, these are the charges. Especially aggravated kidnapping, tampering with, or fabricating evidence. This is filed as of September 4th. Now, if we start taking a look at his past, it's pretty rough. I'll show you this one real quick here. This is going back to June of 2000. The suspect in this case was picked up on aggravated robbery and especially aggravated kidnapping. This is the same charge he just got hit with this morning. The aggravated robbery, we'll dive into that in just a second. But back then, let's see, he originally entered a plea of not guilty to both charges. We'll take a look at the reports on okay. So he did end up taking a plea deal. And if I remember correctly, for the aggravated robbery charge, he was sentenced to 11 years. Looks like he had already had 512 days in county, so a little over, what would that be, about a year and a half? Well, not quite a year and a half, but let's take a look at the primary charge that really got him, especially aggravated kidnapping. Take a look at this. This is the one where they got him back in 2000. They gave him 24 years. 24 years. That was the sentence. Now, he ended up taking a plea deal. He ended up taking a deal for 20 years. They originally offered him 15 years early on in this case back in 2000. He turned it down, said he didn't want to sign it, didn't want to sign his life away. Turned down the 15 years. They came back just a little bit before he was due to be sentenced and offered him 20 years. He took the 20 years. I believe in Tennessee, I think it's 80%. 80% or 85%. I think it's 80% over there. You do 80% and you're released. Looks like he filed for a motion. This is on his earlier case, the case from 2000, which I'll give you some details on that in just a second. Looks like in his earlier case he filed for post-conviction relief. That got turned down. No, it's not. You've already at this point you've already accepted the plea. It's probably going to be really hard to get that overturned or to get another trial. Yeah, filed for an appeal. Didn't happen. Got turned down. Denied. Let's talk about his case real quick back in 2000. So here's what happened. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll just read you excerpts from the reports from back in 2000. Okay, so a defense attorney was walking to his car around 2 a.m. on May 25th, 2000, after attending I'm not going to get into that part. When a lone gunman walked up behind him, took his wallet, and forced him into the trunk. Forced him into the trunk of his own car. The abductor, Cleo Abston, drove around and picked up friends. After about 2 hours, he escorted this attorney into a gas station, asked him to withdraw some money. There happened to be a Memphis Housing Authority officer in there. The victim yelled that he'd been kidnapped. The kidnappers ran away. Let's see. So that's kind of the backstory on the original charge. Came up behind him, used a gun, forced him into the trunk of his own car. Took him into a gas station to try and get him to pull some money out of the ATM. And luckily for the attorney, back in 2000, there happened to be somebody in the gas station that could help him out. His co-defendant back in 2000, one of his co-defendants, I guess he was sitting on his porch. This gentleman here was driving around in the victim's car. Pulls up to his buddy's house. His buddy's sitting on the porch. Tells him to hop in. They're going to go for a joyride in this Mercedes. And his buddy ended up getting, or co-defendant, he ended up getting 7.5 years parole after 18 months. So do 18, go on parole. I looked up his buddy's name to see if he had any other charges since this happened back in 2000. I couldn't find any in Shelby County. Doesn't mean that there's not some other charges out there, but I couldn't find any. Now, this is the real clincher of the whole thing. Let's take a look at who this gentleman, Mr. Abston, is hanging out with these days. Let's take a look at his brother. Okay, so Cleo's brother, Mario. Let's take a look at his criminal history. Looks like we've got 4 previous warrants, 15 previous cases. Let's take a look at the arrest record. Okay. This is case information that was filed today. And this is on Cleo's brother, Mario. This is who he's hanging around with. Wow. Well, 4 felonies, all lower class, lower rated, lower level felonies. Let's see, we've got 2 Class E felonies, so Let's see. Possession with the intent to manufacture, deliver, or sell. 2 of those. Ooh, that's a bad one there. Possession of a firearm by a dangerous felony. Convicted felon in possession of a handgun. Okay, so let's take a look at this affidavit. Okay, on 3rd day of September 2022, Mario Abston did unlawfully commit the following offenses. Convicted felon in possession of a firearm, possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony, possession of a controlled substance with intent to manufacture, deliver, or sell, heroin, possession of a controlled substance with intent to manufacture, deliver, or sell, fentanyl. Further, affidavit makes oath that the essential facts constituting said offense, reason why the information is believed to be facts. Okay, so here's the meat of the story here. On Saturday, September 3rd, 2022, investigators executed a search warrant at 1765 South Orleans Street, Apartment 3, the home of Mario Abston. Investigators recovered a semi-automatic handgun loaded with 18 rounds of live ammunition and unknown substances packaged in plastic along with a digital scale. Substance was taken to MPD, Memphis Police Department, P&E, property and evidence, to be tag tested and weighed. Portions of substance tested positive for heroin, 2.3 grams. Additional amount of the powdery packaged separately tested positive for fentanyl, 27 grams. All items were tagged. Let's see what else. Essentially they booked him. Let's take a quick look here at some of his previous charges. We got a DV charge here, felony arrest. This is in 2017. That's not that long ago. Oh, well, yeah, some possession of controlled substance with intent to manufacture, deliver, or sell. Let's take a look at that affidavit. Okay, officer responded to a drug narcotics violation on Parkway Avenue. Oh, Parkway Food Mart. Okay, so basically they had previously told him to stay off the property. Officers made contact with him again, patted him down, found some dope. Found about $400. Was also carrying 9 pills that later tested positive for ecstasy. There's another case on Mario back in 2008. A lot of the same activity, aggravated robbery. Wow. 4 of them, 4 charges. Let's see if we can get the report on this one. Okay, on September 10th, 2007, approximately 8 o'clock at night, this guy and 2 other guys walked in and robbed a McDonald's with handguns. During the interview, he waived his Miranda rights and admitted to both robberies. As a result, he's been charged with 2 counts of aggravated robbery. So odds are pretty good. Let me check and see if he did any time for that. Looks like the court took it pretty serious. They gave him a $750,000 bond. It's going to be hard to get somebody to bail you out on that. What would that be? $75,000 cash? Okay, if we go all the way back to, I think this one's in January 2007. Okay, so January 2007, he's basically driving at DUI. Reckless driving, driving under the influence, public intoxication, no driver's license, violation of financial law, no proof of insurance. That was on January 26th of 2007. Check this out. Less than a month later, uh, gets charged again. Theft of property, 10,000 to 60,000. Evading arrest. Basically, he and three other guys were arrested for stealing a truck and ran from the cops less than a month later. Let's see. Next charge. This is in April. So 2 months later. Well, actually less than 2 months later. April 2007. Possession of a prohibited weapon. I'll let you guys take a look at this. This guy's got a sawed-off shotgun. We'll take a look at this real quick here. AO, arresting officer, responds to an armed party call. Basically, somebody called in, said there's somebody out here walking around with a gun. When AO arrived on the scene, they observed the defendant on the second landing of the stairwell. Defendant was asked to move so officers could pass by. When the AO observed a shotgun loaded with 2 shells behind the defendant, the defendant was detained, and upon a pat-down, they found 5 matching shells in the defendant's left pocket. Defendant was taken into custody and transported to Poplar Avenue. That's probably a sector office. I don't know. Weapons were tagged at the P&E room. Shotgun was prohibited sawed-off shotgun. So that's in April 2007. Here we are again in June of 2007. Gets picked up again. No, actually, I take that back. He pled guilty. This is where they tried to. He had a suspended sentence from before, so they PTR'd him. Was found guilty. They gave him a year. This was in, June of 2007. So they PTR'd him for one of the previous charges that he basically was given a pass on. Okay, July. What happened here in July? Theft of property. Found guilty. I don't know if there's they never pay the court fines either. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. They never pay them. July, I think this is that's the same thing. Never mind. Let's go to his first affidavit, held to state. So this was filed in January 2008. He gets hit with, this is the aggravated robbery. We talked about this one just a little while ago. So, yeah, I mean, this is who the guy that abducted Mrs. Fletcher, this is his brother. This is who he's running around with. All right, more to come after we get some more updates. We'll follow up with a part 3 once we have some more information. Hey guys, if you like this kind of content, the follow-ups and whatnot, do me a favor. Can you put a comment in the post? And go ahead and subscribe if you don't mind. It helps grow the channel. We're trying to get this new channel off the ground. Try and remain biased. I know some of the way I talk sometimes seems a little snarky. After reviewing these time and time again over the last several years, I mean, they all seem to end the same. But I try and remain biased. You know, he's innocent until proven guilty, and we'll pick it up once we get some more news. But if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and click the subscribe button. It does help grow the channel. Add some comments on some more things that you'd like to see, or if you'd like something that I'm doing to be changed, by all means, make a comment. Thanks.